Yo, what's up, guys? Um, so last night, the Detroit Tigers finished off the regular season in Chicago with a 5-2 victory over the White Sox. You know, it was good to finally. I'm not gonna say finally. I'm kind of sad that the season's over. I had fun watching the Tigers this year. Unfortunately, they did not make the playoffs. Their final record is 77-85. Nothing spectacular. However, it shows growth. We showed growth this year. Um, the important thing is we were fun to watch, and we haven't been fun to watch in like half a decade. So it was refreshing to see. Not only was it fun to watch to see, it just seemed like every single game we played, we had a chance to win. And there was a lot more games that we lost that we should have won. So, you know, I'm not gonna say what ifs and all that, but I guess I will a little bit. Because basically the Tigers, they were not a bad team this year. They were not a bad team. Yes, they finished below 500. However, they played like a playoff team for the majority of the year. The only reason why they really didn't have a shot to make the playoffs come September was because, I don't know if it was mainly because of this, but I think it was when they started 9-21 in their first 30 games. I just feel like that was just too much to overcome and too much to come back from. So, oops, my camera's about to fall, or my phone. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like that the Tigers would have started 15-15, like won 6 more games. It would have been a whole different season. So it's just, and the number of 1-run games or 2-run or less games that we've lost, that we could have, we were one base hit away from tying the game or winning the game. We would have just won half of those. And then the games that we had a big lead in, like that, I remember one game we were playing against the Angels at home at Comerica Park. It was a day game. We were winning 10-2 after 6, and we lost that game. Like, we blew it. Like, there was a number of those games where maybe it wasn't like a 10-2, but we had like even in this last series we had a 4-0 lead against the White Sox after 7, and we lost that game, or through our 7th inning, we still lost that game. So, if we just, didn't lose those games, we would have won the games we were supposed to win. And what I mean by supposed to win, I'm not saying beat the bad teams. I know you're supposed. If you're going to be a good team, you gotta beat the bad teams. But even bad teams win at least every once in a while. So, because they always want to be like, I feel like the bad teams, whenever they play against a better team, they always want to show that they can beat them, or I think like they play a little bit harder. They really want to beat them. But what I mean by winning games you're supposed to win. If you're up by 3 or more runs after 7, you got to win that game. You really do. And like I said, there was a number of games where we came back to take the lead, we still blew at the end, or we lost a run game or a 2-run game. If we just won half of those, we would have been in the playoff race. But we all expected us not to make the playoffs this year. We exceeded expectations this year. Really, a lot of people were saying that the Tigers were not going to win more than 50 games or something like that this year. We won 77. 3 games before 80 and only 8 games below 500. This was a very, very good season for the Tigers. Shows are ready to turn the corner, and I am excited for next year and the years to come, because our prospects are supposed to be coming up next year. Like, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. I'm excited to see them. And hopefully we can get a few guys in for agency, because I've heard we're finally going to open up the checkbook. Hopefully that means we're going to sign some good players in free agency. Not just, these older guys like Robbie Grossman, although he did well this year. I'm not going to lie. He did well. But, what I mean is, like, go after a guy like Carlos Correa, who I really hope they get, because we need a shortstop. We also need a catcher, although I don't really know who's going to be in the catcher in free agency, because I know a few of them are already signed, so I don't know really who's going to be left. I'm going to have to look and see who's still a free agent. That may become a video shortly after the World Series ends. But no, this season, I guess the top 4 guys that really surprised me this year was Robbie Grossman. He played phenomenal. Hit his career high in homers in, I think, 23, I want to say. 20 steals. I feel like, I want to say he led the American League in walks. If not, he was close. His batting average really wasn't as spectacular, but he was a very good player. And I feel like he's a veteran presence we need on this team, especially also with Jonathan Scope. But I guess the main 2 guys that really, really surprised me was Akil Baddoo and Eric Haas, the 2 rookies. I mean, everybody was high on Akil Baddoo throughout spring training and said he needs a roster spot. You know, this kid, I'm going to say kid, he's 3 years older than I am, but he's only 23. He barely saw AA, never even seen AAA, blew it up in spring training, got that roster spot because of how he did in spring training. And then the way he did in the majors, it just feels like he was just meant to be in the majors. I mean, he played phenomenal this whole year. Yeah, he dealt with some injuries, minor here and there, but he did phenomenal. I mean, and I really can't wait for him to grow as a player. And I feel like he could be a centerpiece in our outfield for years to come. I mean, only 23. I feel like him, Riley Green, Daz Cameron, and Derek Hill, those are going to be the 4 guys that should be in our, maybe not Daz Cameron per se, although I do like him, but maybe he just isn't MLB ready yet. But I mean, he showed some glimpses this year, but I'd rather have Derek Hill, to be honest. Derek Hill, he can bat, he has the speed, and the defense. So yeah, I think that Akil Baddoo, Riley Green, and Derek Hill should be our outfielders for years to come, with the veteran presence of Robbie Grossman having the outfield there, because he has 1 more year left on his contract. I don't think we're going to re-sign him after this year. Who knows? Maybe we will. I don't know what the Tigers are going to do, but I think they should resign. I know they just signed Jonathan Scope, but I think he should be part of the future. Just because you need that veteran presence at second base. Spencer Torkelson could play first. Kennedy got third. But we need a shortstop, and that's how I hope we go get Carlos Correa. He's only 26, I think. He's 26, 27. He's still young. He's played with AJ Hinch, so let's see. Catcher, I like Eric Haas. He's good at bat. I loved what I saw from Jake Rogers. I loved his defense. It sucks they had to get Tommy John surgery, so he's probably not going to play next year, which sucks because, like I said, I really liked his defense. And he had an okay bat. But I guess if push comes to shove, we can also run with just Eric Haas and Dustin Garneau again. Dustin Garneau did all right. But Eric Haas' bat did fine. His bat was fine. Although Eric Haas is 29, so I don't really know what his future is for Detroit. We'll see what happens. Like I said, this year was pretty fun. I went to like 8 games this year. 8 games to Comerica Park. I was 2-6 going. I wasn't really expecting that, but it was fun to go to these games. The most memorable one, I think, I want to say, was when I went to see them play against the Brewers. We won 1-0 in the 11th, when they had the hour rain delay. It was, long story short, after the 6th inning, when they told us to go to the concourse, me and my friend who I went with, we went to the concourse, obviously. We were in the upper level on the third base line. And that's when they delayed it, because we could see lightning in the distance. I'm like, oh, here it comes. It was 0-0. It was 0-0. So they really couldn't call it, because there was no score. Both starting pitchers, I believe it was Freddie Peralta and Willie Peralta. Both of them did a fantastic job that game. They both had their stuff. And so, we were sitting in the concourse. I called my mom to tell her that I'm not going to be home on time. We were in a delay, and I don't know how long this is going to take. So after that, I say to Justin, all right, who I went with, my friend Justin, I'm going to use the bathroom because I had to pee. I know I say TMI, all that, but whatever. The reason why I say that is because I was in the bathroom for less than 30 seconds. Before I went in, all it was, it sprinkled a tiny bit, but not really. All it was just a lightning show. The lightning show, you can see, very cool lightning show. Hear a little bit of thunder, but there was no wind, no rain. I come out less than 30 seconds later. Because, I did my business. And I didn't wash my hands. But the sinks didn't work. Like, neither of them did. I'm like, well, that's fun. But, I was alright, fine. I'll wash my hands when I get home. But so I come out. And there's 60 mile an hour winds. It's downpouring. Including with the thunder and lightning. And I'm like, I was in there for less than 30 seconds. Where did everybody go? And where did this come from? Like, it was swirling winds. And I'm like, damn. And at Comerica Park, there's these, like, life-size Pepsi bottle can things that you can put your cans in. It's like a recycle thing. One of them come flying at me as soon as I step out, so I had to jump out of the way. And when I say downpouring, it's downpouring with 60 mile an hour gust winds. So, me and Justin go find this spot where the elevators are, and we just stand there. We basically stand there for the next hour. A lot of people leave, but a lot of people stayed. A lot of people stayed, like, under the cover where the Tigers Den area is. So then, as this is going on, Justin's like, this game is not going to get played tonight. It's going to be postponed until tomorrow. I was like, well, we're staying regardless. I'm the driver. I paid for these tickets. We're staying until they say otherwise. And since it was a 6:40 game, and when they delayed it was through 6, and it was only 8:30, so we had plenty of time. So, after a while, at like, I want to say 9:30, or something like that, they told us that they're closing the upper level for the night, so we couldn't go back to our seats, so we had to go down to the lower level, and we're just walking down the lower level waiting for any announcements on what the game's going to be. Jumbotron didn't say anything other than said, we're in a rain delay, thanks for your patience. So we actually got to talk to one of the producers for the Valley Sports Detroit, who runs the set. That was kind of cool. So then once they finally said the game's going to restart at 10:10, they said, okay, you can go back to your seats now, even though they're wet. I looked at Justin, and I'm like, well, we can't go back to our seats. They're up there, and they closed that. So we basically can choose any seat down there. Let's go sit behind home plate. What? I mean, you don't get an opportunity to sit behind home plate for free very often, basically. I mean, I guess we did have to pay to get in, but, our seats only cost like $10 a seat. And we could pretty much sit behind home plate for basically free. We did that. We went down behind home plate, finished the game, and, saw them. Basically, it was funny because after the bottom of the 10th, when the Tigers couldn't score, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start rooting for the Brewers because, I want this game to be over. It's over 11 o'clock. I got to go to work tomorrow at 10. And it's a 2-hour drive. I want to go home. So, basically, I was like, I don't know. But we're staying until this game ends. So, and then they load. And then it was funny because the Tigers loaded the bases in the 9th inning, the bottom of the 9th, with 1 out. We couldn't score a run. And then the Brewers did the exact same thing. And Brian Garcia, of all pitchers, got out of it somehow. And we won with a Derek Hill base hit. And, I posted that on my YouTube channel, on YouTube. That's the one I posted. That was the most memorable game I think I've ever went to. And it was just so much fun to be. It's so much fun to go to the ballpark. Some person asked me that when I was going to my 7th game, I think. They're like, does these ever get old? And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Because it's a new experience every time you go. It's different every time you go. So, and I'm going to be going to a lot next year as well. And hopefully I'll be going to a few Pistons games this year, maybe one Lions game, I don't know. But the Tigers game is just fun to go to. So, yeah. Speaking of Willie Peralta, though, he was another guy who surprised me this year. He came out of nowhere. He came out of basically left field. He comes in because of injuries, and he did a solid job. He may have just earned himself. Same with Tyler Alexander. Spencer Turnbull, had Tommy John surgery as well, which sucked. Because he also had that no-hitter, which was fun to see. This season had some, obviously, ups and downs, but, it had some fun moments in it, like, fun walk-offs, the Spencer Turnbull no-hitter, McGilchrist reaching 500 homers. I'm probably missing one. But it had some fun things happen this year. And speaking of Spencer Turnbull, it sucks he had to get Tommy John surgery, so he's also probably going to miss most of next year, if not all next year. Because he was going to be a nice solid piece in our rotation as well. But I think, I don't know what's happened to Matthew Boyd, but I really don't think he's going to be a part of our future very much longer. I don't know what's up with him. But, obviously next year our rotation is going to have Casey Mize, Matt Manning, Tarek Skubal, and I wouldn't mind it being Willie Peralta and Tyler Alexander again. I feel like they both did a good job, and I feel like they did enough to earn their spot in the rotation. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll sign a starting pitcher in this off season. I heard that they may try to get Justin Verlander back for a season or two so he could retire as a Tiger. I wouldn't mind that. He can still pitch at a high level. We're just going to have to see what this offseason is going to look like. I got to see what the official free agency is going to look like, because the last time I looked at it, I saw Yachty, the catcher Yachty from, I think the Reds, I want to say. It's either the Reds or the Cardinals. But he re-signed, but he was on the free agency list. So I got to see the updated list once it comes out. And I'll see who could be a good signing for the Tigers or not. We got some money, and we got to start spending if you want to win. But I fully expect us to be dangerous next year, and I expect us to be a playoff team next year. So I can't wait. It's the next decade or so. I feel like the Tigers are going to be a competitive playoff team, and it's going to be fun. I feel like I can't wait. But yeah, this season, like I said, it was a fun season to watch. It just every game you watched, it just felt like the Tigers were never out of it. It felt like you always had a chance with this team, and yeah, I personally have not felt that in 5 years. So it was also nice to feel that. And all in all, I'm going to call this a successful season because it was the first season in, like I said, half a decade. We didn't finish dead last in AL Central. We finished third. We were competing for the second spot with the Indians, now the Guardians, which I find stupid. No offense to the Cleveland Ball Club, but you guys could have picked a better name. But yeah, can't wait till next season. And yeah, go Tigers. Have a good day, guys.